Welcome to Rewatch-and-Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Grey's Anatomy Season 3, Episode 15, Drowning on Dry Land. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So this episode does pick up where the last one left off, and we see Izzy still handling her patient out in the field, where it turns out she ends up having to drill burr holes into his head to relieve pressure in order to save his life, which she does manage to do with Richard directing her over the phone. And then when they do arrive back at the hospital, she is taken off probation officially and allowed to scrub in on his surgery because of her heroic deeds in the field. George lies to has to this comes in and has a bit of a fight from those station. I'm not taking points for it, just spoilers for the mostly objective ranking. And then of course Derek manages to find the child that was with Meredith. Child points to the water to show him where Meredith is when he asks, and jumps in, manages to bring her out of the water, but she's hypothermic and also obviously has been in the amphitheater. Everybody worrying about her is she wakes up to ghosts. Dylan, who was in the end of the world as we know it, little episode duo, and died via the bomb. And then Denny, who of course died in the hospital and was Izzy's boyfriend. So basically a little gathering of ghosts where she asks if she's dead, and they basically, at least for now, she is. And then just as an aside to that, Alex also comes up with a system to help identify the ongoing patients and the deceased by taking Polaroid pictures of their faces so that the loved ones can take them off of the boards. But now that we've been reminded what happened in this episode, it's now time to rank the episode. As always, we'll be ranking first on the mostly objective ranking, followed by the personal ranking. So on our mostly objective rank values, first we have 3 points for the successful emotional impact, and I felt that this impact was successful specifically of the loved ones' reactions to the victims. I've often thought that death isn't necessarily about the person who died because they're already gone. They're moved on to wherever it is they're going to go after death. They're not here anymore. I doubt they care about anything at that point. They're done, right? But mostly death, like I feel like the strongest impact of death is those who are left behind, the impact it has on them, on their ability to, continue their lives going forward, find closure. And I just find like the grief of the loved ones is what impacted me more so than the fact that they had lost somebody. It's the grief that they feel in having lost that, in that impact that it has on the living. That is where I think death's greatest impact is. And I felt like it was very successfully conveyed within this episode, both with the identification of loved ones by the people who are crowding in the hospital's waiting rooms, and also when Meredith comes in, all of the doctors who know and work with her, especially Christina, was a very successful emotional impact. Then we have 4 points each for some multi-season main character developments, which is Meredith drowning, Derek saving Meredith, and then Izzy getting taken off of probation. Like I said, I did not take points for the continued fight between Christina and Burke, as it is continuing the exact same fight from the previous episode, and so it hasn't regressed any further than it did then, or progressed, so there isn't really a change there. But I did take points for George lying to a patient, and I understand why he did it. Obviously, the mother was not going to have surgery until she found out about her son, so he lied to her so that she would get the surgery that could save her life, because last thing you'd want is to find the son and then have to tell him, oh, your mom died because we couldn't find you soon enough. Like, talk about survivor's guilt. You don't want to put that on a child, so he does lie. I understand why. It's still, I don't think, morally right to lie to a patient, especially to coerce them into getting a surgery that they otherwise wouldn't have agreed to had you not lied to them. So I did take the 2 points for it, but again, on a personal level, I understand why he lied and don't necessarily think the outcomes of lying are bad, but again, the very act of lying itself is negative. Either way, this puts us at a 13 out of 10, so this is a 10 out of 10 episode. When more than one episode has the same score on our mostly objective ranking, we do rank in episode order. Therefore, our mostly objective ranking starts with Where the Boys Are, followed by Don't Stand So Close to Me, Great Expectations, Wishin' and Hopin', Walk on Water. This episode comes in 6th place, Drowning on Dry Land, Let the Angels Commit, I Am a Tree, Time Has Come Today, Oh the Guilt, Staring at the Sun, From a Whisper to a Scream, 6 Days, What I Am, and so far in last place is Sometimes a Fantasy. This episode for me was also a 10 out of 10. However, you can tell that it is the middle episode. On the previous episode, everything was getting started, everything was new in how they deal with the tragedies and the triage and all of that. This episode was basically treating the patients and stabilizing the patients so that in the next episode we can focus on Meredith, who of course came in drowned, unconscious, and according to the last scene of the episode, potentially dead currently, to be revived. So you can tell this episode was very much a middle ground. There wasn't as much drama. It was mostly continuing to treat the patients that were treated in the last episode, and then at the end bringing in the drama for Meredith. And so I did think that it was personally a 10 out of 10. However, I did not think that it was as good of a 10 out of 10 as the previous episode, which is why the personal ranking is in first, Walk on Water, followed by this episode in second, Drowning on Dry Land, then Wishin' and Hopin', Great Expectations, Don't Stand So Close to Me, 6 Days, Where the Boys Are, From a Whisper to a Scream, Staring at the Sun, Let the Angels Commit, I Am a Tree, What I Am, Sometimes a Fantasy, Time Has Come Today, and Oh, the Guilt. Bringing us now to the series ranking so far. And on the mostly objective ranking, the previous seasons, season 1 was in first place, followed by season 2, and sorry, I have a cold. Season 3 so far has 101 points out of a possible 230. Then on the personal ranking side, season 2 was in first place, followed by season 1, and season 3 has a score of 122 out of a possible 230. But with that, we've now rewatched and ranked Grey's Anatomy Season 3, Episode 15, Drowning on Dry Land. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.